Hello friends, welcome to the lecture series of digital electronics.
Till now, we were talking about the designing of shift registers. We have seen what are the registers, what is shift register. Today, we will be talking about the bidirectional shift register. Like in the case of CISO, we studied two different configurations in which we said either we can design a shift left operation or shift right operation in serial in, serial out. But in this bidirectional shift register, we will be designing a single circuit that will be having the capability to shift either left or right depending on the user input. The second, we will be talking about the universal shift register, in which we will be designing a circuit that will have all these operations like shift left, shift right, parallel load, right? So all these four types that we have studied, we will try to combine them in a single circuit, and that working we will see in universal shift register. At the end, we will see some specific counters that are designed by using shift register like ring counter and Johnson counter. Starting with the bidirectional shift register. Now in this case, what we want to design a circuit that will be shifting left and right both. So we will assume a input, and in that input we will see if that input, say M, if it is 0, M is equal to 0. It is performing shift left operation, and if M is equal to 1, it is performing shift right operation. So I can have the data, different data will be there. So suppose DL is the data that I want to provide to my circuit serially, and I want it to shift left. Similarly, DR is the data which I want to provide serially to my circuit, and it will be shifting right. And let these are of 3-bit. Say. So we are working with the 3-bit register. So I will be having 3 flip-flop, 3 D flip-flop. So if you will see how to design the circuit is, I will be having first flip-flop, then we will be having the second flip-flop, and this is my third flip-flop. So let these are the D0, D1 and D2. D2, this will be Q2, then this will be D1, and its output will be Q1 and Q1 bar, and the last one is my D0, MSB to LSB, and the last one will be my Q0. So here I am representing the Q0, right? So Q0, Q1 and Q2. These are my output of these flip-flops. All 3 flip-flops are clocked by a single clock pulse, and all these 3 are positive SD. Now when we are saying when M is equal to 0, it should shift left. It means we will be providing this input DL to my D0, right? For shift left operation, input should be provided at D0, and then Q0 should be connected to D1, Q1 will be connected to D2, and so on. That is my shift left operation. So D1 should be equal to Q0, that is the connection that we are talking. D2 should be equal to Q1. In shift right operation, this DR will be connected to D2 because we want to perform right shifting, and then Q2 will be connected to D1. So in this case, D1 will be equal to Q2 and D0 will be equal to Q1. So now we need to make the circuit. Again we will be using the AND gate. This is the shift left input DL. So this input should be connected to D0, and when it should be connected, when M is equal to 0. So this is when M is equal to 0. So I will be writing it as a M bar. This should be connected to D0. And then we need to perform the shift left operation. Q0 should be connected to D1. So we will use a gate here again, and we will be saying when it is M bar, another input should be Q0, and this should be connected to D1. Similarly, one more for the D2. When M bar is there, Q1 should be connected to D2. This is my shift left operation that we have made the circuit. For shift left operation, we need to provide the input to my circuit from right side, and that is shifted toward the left. So we have provided this input DL, this is DL, to my D naught when M is equal to 0 and Q naught is connected to D1. The next what we need to do is we need to make a shift right operation. For shift right, we need to connect the input toward the leftmost flip-flop. So now DR should be connected to D2 when M is equal to 1. So we will be making a AND gate and we will be saying when M is equal to 1, that is when we have M input, DR, the input which I want to shift right, should be connected to D2. So now we have two inputs, so I will be using OR gate because either of them need to be connected. So we will be using a OR gate here to combine these, because since we are using M as a controlling pin, so either gate 1 or gate 4 will be working, right? Because either M will be 0 or 1. So depending on them, in 1 and 4 AND gate, one of them will be working and that will be connected to D2. Similarly, we can have another circuit. Now we can extend this concept further. This will be my M. We need to shift it right. So Q2 should be connected to D1. So I can write it as a Q2. So this will be Q2, or you can even directly connect it from here as well. Then the last stage, M is equal to 1. Q1 should be connected. So this will be my Q1. That should be connected to my D0. So this is a 3-bit bidirectional shift register, where depending on the input M, it is either performing shift left operation or shift right operation. What else you can do is, you can use a 2:1 mux as well, where M will be your controlling input. So let's update this circuit if I want to use it a 2:1 mux. So this is a 2:1 mux. These two will be inputs and M is my controlling pin. So this is my 0th input, this is my first input. Similarly, I can use a 2:1 mux here. M is the controlling, this is the 0th input, this is the first input. Output will be D2, D1 and D0. So 3 mux, all 3 will be connected to D2, D0 and D1. This is again the M. And this is my mux 1, this is my mux 2 and this is my mux 3. So let's see what could be the inputs. If I am talking with mux 3, so when M is equal to 0, I naught will be active, you can say, or this black one will be active, and when M is equal to 1, I1 will be active. So when M is equal to 0, we need to connect data to D0. So this input will be my DL, this one, this will be my Q0, because now we need to perform shift left operation, and this will be my Q1. When M is equal to 1, data should be applied to D2. So this will be my DR, which will be applied to D2. This will be Q2 and this will be Q1. And this is again my bidirectional shift register. So now you can complete the circuit. You can make the connections. You can see this is connected to Q2 here. Then Q1 will be connected somewhere here. In this case, we need to connect it with the Q0. So Q0 will be at this point, and this should be connected to Q1. So Q1 should be from here to, and we can connect it here only. So this is Q1. So this will be the circuit of my bidirectional shift register if I am using mux. So in the slides, we are using the AND gate and one OR gate, and that same can be replaced with the help of mux. Or you can use any other topologies as well. It's totally dependent on you. The next one is universal shift register. Now in the universal shift register has the capability to shift the data both right and left, as well as it should have the capability to load the data parallelly, right? So all the different types that we have studied in terms of shift register, CISO, PISO, SIPO and PIPO. all four operations can be accomplished in the universal shift register. So since we have four type of shift register, so I can use a 4:1 mux. You can use the simple basic gates as well. So in the 4:1 mux, we will be having two select lines. So depending on the two select lines, we will be assigning their operation. So for this particular example that we are studying here, 0 0 is representing the no change. That is when S0 and S1 is 0 0, there is no change. Whatever data is present at the Q0, Q1, Q2 or Q3, if we are talking about the 4-bit shift register, then that will be in the hold position, you can say. For 0 1, it is the shift right operation. For 1 0, it is shift left operation, and for 1 1, it is the parallel loading. You can assign the different functionality to this different inputs of the mux depending on S0 S1. So first I will be having 4:1 mux, input I0, I1, I2 and I3, right? So let this is my 0th input, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3, and we are having two select lines, S1 and S0, and one output is there. Then we will be having, since we are talking about the 4-bit counters, so for 4-bit counter we will be having 4 flip-flop. For 3-bit we will be requiring the 3 flip-flop. So I am making the mux circuit first. So this will be 0 1 2 3 in all the cases, and the select line will be same. So I am just simply connecting select lines. For 4-bit we will be having the 4 stages. So this is my D3 and this will be Q3, then D2 and Q2, the third stage D1 Q1. Here we are designing again from MSB to LSB, D1, and this will be Q1, and finally D0 and Q0. So this will be Q0. Now we need to connect the circuit. So this output will be connected to the D inputs. We were saying when S0 equal to S1 equal to 0, it is in the hold condition or no change. No change means whatever present at the Q node, that will be remain same. So when S0 S1 0 0, the 0th pin will be active. So when 0th pin will be active, I will simply apply Q node here. I will apply Q1 here. I will be applying Q2 here, and I will be applying Q3 here. So now you can say when S0 and S1 is 0 0, whatever present at the Q3, that will be connected to the D3, and it is a simple data transfer operation. So it will retain same as long as you are applying the clock. So we will be having a single common clock to all the flip flops. So this is a positive edge triggered clock that we are coming. The next was when S0 S1 is 0 1. For 0 1, the first pin will be active for my mux, and it is shift right operation. So for shift right, it means we need to provide the data at D3. Right, the input should be provided at the D3, and that it will be shifting towards right. So here so for the leftmost pin here we will be providing the shifting input DR, because 0 1 is my shift right operation. So this DR will be connected to D3, and then this Q3 should be connected to D2 for 0 1 case. So this input has to be Q3, because now for 0 1 Q3 will be connected to D2, then this will be my Q2, and this will be Q1. For 1 0, we will be performing shift left operation. For shift left, input should be provided at the rightmost side. So when it will be 1 0, for 1 0, second input of mux will be active. So here we will be providing the data input that need to be left shifted. Then Q node should be connected to D1. So this will be my Q node. This will be Q1. and this will be Q2. And the last one is 1 1. 1 1 is the parallel loading. So whatever data you want to load parallelly, so let the data is I3, I2, I1, I0, right? So that data will be provided at this input. So this will be I3, this will be I2, this will be I1, and this will be I0. So this is a universal shift register. So in this case, now you can say DL is the data that is need to be shifted left, shift left. DR is the data that need to be shift right, and I0, I1, I2 and I3. So I3, I2, I1 and I0. It is a parallel loading data that we need to load parallelly at once in the circuit. So you can assign these value as per the requirement. So it's not necessary that it has to be in the same format. Like for 00, you can say it for 00 it is shift right operation. For 01 it is parallel loading. For 10 it is no change, and for 11 it is shift right. So the designing part is totally user dependent. You can use the mux. You can even use some basic logic gates as well. The next we will be talking about shift register counters. By using shift register, we can design some specific types of counter. The one is the ring counter or standard ring counter. Second one is the twisted ring counter or Johnson counter. Sometimes we also call that as a shift counter. In the ring counter, the circuit will be same that we have studied for the shift register, but the only difference is that initially at the first clock occurrence of the first clock, we need to provide some specific value to the counter. So generally the one stage is preset and all other will be reset, and then the output of the last stage will going as a feedback to the input of my first stage. That is, if I'm talking about a 4-bit ring counter, so we are having 4 D flip flop, where the first D flip flop we are providing as a preset input, and all remaining 3 will be cleared. So you can say this is the active low only with the clear, and this is the preset, that is again the active. So when initially when this IN initializing input will be low, all will be active. So when all will be active, this will be 1 and these 3 will be 0. So we have initialized our circuit. So one flip flop has to be in the preset, remaining should be 0. So in this case, we are considering in this particular example that first stage is in the preset condition, remaining 3 are in the reset condition. So when we are not applying any clock, there is no clock, but we are applying the initializing input. QA will be 1 and all 3 will be 0. So we are having 1 triple 0 at the initial stage. Now this is a simple shift register counter only, where the output of last stage is going to the feedback and it's connected to the input of my first. So we have the feedback here from last stage to the first stage. So now whenever the clock will come, so all the 4 stages are working in accordance with the clock only, and we have applied the positive edge trigger in this particular case. So when the first clock will come, so now it is a simple example of CISO, right? Serial in, serial out, but we are not having any serial input. For serial input, we are having the feedback. So now this one will be traveled here. For the first, it will be serially shifted right, and this 0 will come here. For second clock pulse, this will be shifted right, and this 0 will come at the input side. For next, it will be again shifted, and after the third clock pulse, after the fourth clock pulse, we will be getting the starting one, what we from where we started. So we can say For n bit ring counter, we are having n stages. For 4-bit ring counter, we are having 4 valid stages. Now for 4-bit counter, we only have 16 stages, 0 to 15, right? 2 power n. So out of 16 stages, only 4 are valid. Remaining 12 are invalid state. So now again the problem will be of lockout. So generally for that case, we are designing a self-correcting ring counter in which reassigning the next stage to my unused state, that we have already seen in the previous lectures, that how to avoid the lockout. Or what else you can do is, you can consider them as a don't care, and then you will design the circuit, and after designing the circuit you will cross check for lockout. This is the ring counter where you can say we are having n valid stages for n bit counter, remaining will be invalid stages, and that you need to take care when you are talking about a self-correcting ring counters. The next one is the twisted ring counter or Johnson counter. Both are same. In the ring counter, we were connecting QD to DA, but for this twisted ring, we will be connecting the inverted output as a feedback to my first flip flop. So here QD bar will be connected. So this QD bar will be connected to the input of the first. Initially, we can have them all in the reset condition, and as clock will come, it will be, since now all are reset, so this input will be 1. So now 1 will be traveled. In this particular case, if we will see, we will be having total 8 stages. The 4 we have represented here. After that, again it will be moving. So total 8 stages will be there. So for n bit Johnson counter, we will be having 2n valid stages. Again, we can have the self-correcting Johnson counter where you will be pre-assigning the unused state to some used state. Or consider them as a don't care, design the circuit and cross check for lockout. But that part we are not checking it here because that we have already discussed. So this complete your shift register and shift register counters. Thank you.